A very good morning, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And we continue to take a look on what's happening right here in the nation of Zimbabwe, without fear, without favor. So, Xavier Kasukuwere, a former minister in the government of Robert Gabriel Mugabe, has remembered what happened on 15th November 2017. And this is where they claim that their house was under attack from the military. When the coup was in progress. And he said that he's going to forgive, but will never forget what Emmerson Mnangagwa and Constantino Chiwenga did to them. And this then brings me to this question. Is it possible that the Gukurahundi victims will forever forget what happened in Matebeleland? If the friends of Emmerson Mnangagwa and Chiwenga, like Kasukuwere, cannot forget what they've done to each other, just having their houses shot at, they can't forget what that experience. What about what happened in Matebeleland? So personally, I find it very difficult to understand the thinking of ZANU-PF people, because you hear them spearheading that you must forgive and forget, we must move on, we must do a BCD. They have not even talked sincerely about Gukurahundi. And they will talk about forgiveness, they will talk about forgetting those experiences. Yet they can't forget their own experiences where they didn't lose lives. Think about it. Think about it. You would understand the kind of people we are dealing with. We are dealing with the most dishonest caliber of politicians right now in the nation of Zimbabwe. Very dishonest, 100% dishonest. So Xavier Kasukuwere, this is the message which is sending to Emmerson Mnangagwa, and this is the 15th of November, and it's their anniversary. This is the day which they claim that they escaped from the jaws of the crocodile. And, you know, this was during the same period when an operation was happening. But let me remind Xavier Kasukuwere that do not blame the military, do not blame Chiwenga, do not blame those people. Blame Jonathan Moyo, your friend. He's the man who was working with Emmerson Mnangagwa since the Cholocho Declaration. They've worked together to make sure that they put Mnangagwa in power. Right now, Jonathan Moyo is simply fooling everyone around. Jonathan Moyo. He constantly comes to Zimbabwe, Jonathan Moyo, and he sneaks into the country, sneaks out of the country. He does it. That is the reason why you saw him towards 2023 elections. He was wearing the same jacket as his supporter Emmerson Mnangagwa. Soon after the elections, he's now pretending as if he hates Emmerson Mnangagwa so much. They are buddies, they are friends. Jonathan Moyo is the same person who was ill-advising G40 people. This is the reason why personally I say, when you are dealing with Emmerson Mnangagwa in the politics of Zimbabwe, never trust sellouts. Never trust sellouts. Because if you trust those sellouts, they will continue to misguide you, to mislead you. And they will come with sweet tongue. They will come with some secrets, with some information, as if they love you, as if they know what they're talking about. And you start to trust them. You start to trust their judgment. They'll even tell you, we have now repented. And their agenda will be to crush you. So Jonathan Moyo, he was the friend of Xavier Kasukuwere. They worked together during the G40, and he was on the forefront of misleading Team G40, and they succeeded. Emmerson Mnangagwa, according to their declaration which they made in Cholocho, was eventually made president. That is what they worked for. That is the reason why you see Jonathan Moyo was fired from ZANU-PF, was brought back to ZANU-PF, fired from ZANU-PF, brought back to ZANU-PF. Is because Emmerson Mnangagwa was engineering everything, and as a close ally of Robert Mugabe, he could do it without suspicion. So where we are at this point in time, Kasukuwere, they might say we are not going to forget about these experiences. What about the Zamara family? Well, Xavier Kasukuwere was a minister when Itai Zamara went missing. And Vanasevia Kasukuwere were part and parcel of the system which was silencing people who were asking about the whereabouts of Itai Dzamara. Will we ever forget about Itai Dzamara? Do we even need to forgive the people who abducted Itai Dzamara and made him disappear? No, we won't. We won't. Up until Sevia Kasukuwere dumps his thinking about being a revolutionary under ZANU-PF, we will never agree with Sevia Kasukuwere. Personally, my bone of contention with Sevia Kasukuwere is that he doesn't want to acknowledge that ZANU-PF Yaora. He doesn't want to entirely leave ZANU-PF. He's a man who is still thinking kuti one day they will come and revive ZANU-PF. How do you plan to revive a cult? How do you plan to revive a party which has murdered so many people? Even during the liberation struggle, so many people died in the hands of ZANU-PF. Post-independence, so many people died in Matebele and Midlands there. Post-independence, so many political opposition people died in the hands of ZANU-PF. Up to this day, their hands are dripping of blood. Yet you still have characters who say, no, who will forgive, who will never forget, but they still want to be part and parcel of the system, a murderous system, a system which hunted them down throughout the night. They still want that party. They still want that system. A system with people without, what do you call it? Without principles. A system with of people which will say today, Mnangagwa must go. And immediately tomorrow, when Robert Mugabe lost power, they said Mnangagwa must come back, Robert must go. What kind of unprincipled people are you? That is the same party which is willing to join hands with. That is the same party is claiming kuti, I know we are still loyal. He's still loyal to ZANU-PF, his political party. So forget about this statement from Sevia Kasukuwere. This man is never telling the truth, and I will never tell the truth as long as he is still affiliated with ZANU-PF. He will never tell the truth. He will never tell the truth, because one thing he does not explain is how did the soldiers stop attacking them and shooting at them? What stopped them? How did they escape Zimbabwe? You will never want to explain such a situation to the people of Zimbabwe. How did you live? It's because they wanted to preserve you for the future. For the future, they have preserved you. Because they know that one day you will save their interest, no matter no matter might say, one day they want you to save their own interest. That is the reason why they preserved you. If not, they would have killed you. But because they know that you share something in common, they preserved you. Up until you 100% denounce ZANU-PF, up until you 100% distance yourself from ZANU-PF, personally, myself, I will continue to view you as a sellout. So Citizen says, at least you were lucky to survive. On the 5th of May 2008, 16 years ago, you organized and ferried a group of 300 youths to Chaona, Mazowe. The youths beat up opposition supporters, killing 6 and injuring dozens. Those killed included Tapua Meda, Alex Chiriseri, Joseph Madzura. These are events which people like Sevia Kasukuwere will never talk about. They will never talk about these events. But indeed they happened. There are people who lost their lives in 2008 when Sevia Kasukuwere were there. They were there. Vachi contestants, members of parliament and what, and in their areas, the ruling party, Robert Mugabe, had been defeated. And the same people, they unleashed terror on the citizens. Right now, they want to appear as if they are good people. They want to appear as if they can forgive, but not forget. What about us who have suffered? In 2008, personally, I experienced the brutality of ZANU-PF. I know how brutal ZANU-PF was. I was in the rural areas. I know how they were brutal. vanhu vachienda kunorara kukembi uko kubase, muchiimbiswa musha une mabhunu ndewani tibombe. Iwe, how do you make people sing musha une mabhunu ndewani in 2008? How many years after independence? People were made to sing musha une mabhunu ndewani tideure ropa. They were serious. Toda kutodeura ropa. And for sure, vamwe vakasiwa varemara, vamwe vakagurwa maoko, vamwe vakaita up to this day they cannot feed their families. Kuna vanhu vakatosiwa orphans. But people like Xavier Kasukuwere who want to continue associate with such kind of a party, how are we going to forgive you? You are talking about forgetting, but we cannot forgive. We can't forgive. We can't forgive. Because our people lost lives. Our people lost lives. You have not explained how, and you massacred people. You have not explained your role as an individual. You have not. And if you were serious and honest, you're supposed to start by explaining. Explain how you terrorized people in 2008. Explain how you terrorized people when you were in the CIO. You have to give those explanations. That is the only condition we are going to say, okay, maybe we can now start to talk about reconciliation. But at this point in time, personally, I see this as something which is very difficult. This is the reason why personally I'm skeptical about the so-called unity. How do we unite with the same people who massacred us in 2008? Vana Kasukuwere were there when we were massacred. There are reports that they took part in the massacres. They have not sat down with the people to actually tell the truth what really happened, who massacred our people. They've not told the people of Zimbabwe they are raw. They've not spoken about their own raw. Yes. And somehow, we are told, let us unite with them. Let us bring everybody on board. Yes, it's good to bring everybody on board. But how are we going to deal with the people who lost their lives, the innocent people who lost their lives? Are we going to say simply because we have gotten political power, let us forget about what happened in the past? Let us forget about the atrocities. How then are you able to judge others who are poor simply because they are poor, simply because they don't have political connections? Because what is the difference between a political murder and a murderer who kills for other reasons? What is the difference of these people? A person who murders people with political intentions and a person who murders somebody with his own intentions, what is the difference? They are both murderers. So how do you treat somebody who kills with own intentions, who's not affiliated to politics? How do you treat that person differently from that one with political affiliations? How can we be led by murderers? We must be honest with ourselves. For Zimbabwe to move forward, we need to make sure that we deal with murderers. Murderers must be dealt with. You can't talk of forgiveness when people have grown up as orphans and there is no plan to compensate them, to compensate what they have lost when due to the behavior and the culture of ZANU-PF people and ZANU-PF leaders. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. This is the statement from Xavier Kasukuwere. And we just want to remind him that, Mr. Kasukuwere, we have not forgotten. You have not explained to the people of Zimbabwe your role in the 2008 massacres. You have to come, explain to the people of Zimbabwe your role, your participation in the 2008 massacres, and we will start from there. So it is what it is, Team Zimbabwe. Let me take a few comments right here. Lucia says, but Kasukuwere is alleged to have played a big part in 2008, short-sleeved Mugabe office in July. Yes, Kasukuwere was part and parcel of this, and he has refused to talk about this issue. At least talk about it. At least tell the truth, because yes, people lost lives, but he must come to explain how people lost lives. And I agree with you. Petronella says, good morning. How are you, Petronella? Says, we are not forgetting and forgiving you, people from their houses while they are sleeping and killed them So this is something which is very important. People were massacred simply for supporting the opposition. Imimi maizivana pachenyu in terms of your own succession, because mairwisana at your own level. At your own level. Imimi Kasukuwere, you had the CIO on, maybe you had other people from the military or whatever. You had your own people. Maivane security yenyu. But if we talk about the victims of 2008, the Gukura wound, these are people who were unarmed. Vamwe vachipisirwa mudzimba, vamwe vachirohwa, vamwe vachiita nenhumbu vachivhiyiwa. It's so sad. Up to this day, you people have refused to bring closure to the Matabeleland massacres. You have refused to bring closure to the 2008 massacres. You have refused to bring closure to the Murambachina. You have refused. So Glot says, people, I feel we are running out of time with Mnangagwa. Can we not sacrifice ourselves for the sake of future generations? Look at Mozambicans. They are dying for the future. I believe that, Glot, where we are going, you are going to see the puzzle falling into place. The puzzle is going to complete itself. You are going to see what is going to happen. Mnangagwa will not remain in power. By Ukoro Kruku, Mnangagwa will be removed from power. He will go. Zana 2030 zvarukutaura zvingano. I want to tell you this. Mapindiro awakaita ndo mabudiro aunoita. But one of the most important things is to know that when the time is ripe, there is nobody who is going to stop a change from happening. Our time is coming. And we are going to make sure that we get into that phase and that era as a people. One day, something will happen. And that is what is going to shake the corridors of power. And they will be shaken forever. So Lucia says there are many political parties in Zimbabwe. They must unite. Chamisa has no party. After all, Chamisa has people and has won elections twice. Yes. For those who are talking about unity, one of the most amazing things is that they want also Chamisa to be part of that unity. But no son Chamisa ana part. Arutaura no. I'm representing citizens, which means the main political parties in Chamisa is representing you. You can go and work together with him. But you still want to force Nelson Chamisa to come and endorse you. That is the problem. So you can unite my political parties in you mese timboona by election one zvayo. Mombo batana ma political parties ese mounza vana Mzembe vana Kasukuwere nanani mombo no kambenera an election. Tono kuti munowina here. You can do it, guys, to prove. If you have people, you can do it to prove. Mombo batana, and you go against ZANU-PF, you compete, and we see. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Let me end this program right here, because today we have a lot to talk. Yesterday and the previous day, I was not available online during the day, but today I'm available. We need to talk more about what is happening right here in the nation of Zimbabwe. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Let us meet in other episodes as well as other broadcasts.